So this is video 5 for chapter 10. It goes with section 10.5, and we're going to be talking about independent and dependent events. So this target says we can identify, right, be able to tell what's a dependent or independent event, and then calculate the probability of those dependent and independent events. Again, this builds on what we've already been doing with compound events. So more than one event happening at a time. That's what we talked about in the last video. So more than one event happening at a time. Dependent events are going to be where one event happening does affect the likelihood of the next event happening, right? It changes the outcomes or the possible outcomes of the second event, compared to independent events where the first thing happening does not affect the likelihood or the probability or the outcomes of the next event happening, okay? So let's look through some examples. You're going to be thinking about, does the first thing affect the second thing? If it does, then those things are dependent on each other. If it does not affect the second thing happening, then they're independent of each other, okay? So let's do a couple examples. So you're going to write down independent or dependent for each of these, okay? I'll do a couple and then you'll practice a couple. So you roll a 5 on a dice and then spin blue on a spinner. Well, what happens on the dice has nothing to do with what happens on the spinner. So those would be totally independent events, okay? Number 6, your teacher chooses one student to lead a group and then chooses another student to lead a different group. Well, assuming somebody can't be picked for the leader of both groups, then once you choose a leader for the first group, that changes who's left to be picked as a leader for the second group. So that second event, the outcomes depend on what happens in the first event. So these are dependent events, okay? Number 7 says you spin red on one spinner and green on a different spinner. Well, what you get on the first spinner has nothing to do with what happens on the second spinner. So those are totally independent events, okay? You're going to finish 8, 9, and 10, okay? So number 8, write these down. Number 8 says you eat a piece of Halloween candy, and then you randomly pick and eat another piece of Halloween candy. Number 9 says you're riding your bike. You randomly turn right at the first intersection and turn left randomly at the next intersection. And then number 10 has 2 parts. Number 10 says you randomly pick 2 M&Ms. The probability of picking 2 greens, if you pick one and put it back, right? So if you replace the first one before you pick your second one. And the second question says still picking 2 greens, but you eat it. Right after you pick the first green, you eat it and you don't put it back. Would that be dependent or independent? Okay. So pause, and then we'll check. So there's the 3 we did together. Halloween candy. Well, if you eat one and then pick another one, your choices of what you pick the second time are different now because you've already had one. So that's dependent. It changes the outcomes of the second event. Riding your bike, randomly turn right, randomly turn left. What you do the first time doesn't necessarily change what you do or affect what you do the second time, so independent. And then here we have one of each. If you're picking 2 M&Ms and you put it back, then when you pick the second one, nothing's changed. Your outcomes are still exactly the same, so independent. However, if you eat the first M&M, right, so you don't put it back, now your outcomes are different because you have one less M&M to choose from. So when you don't replace it, that would be dependent. So you will have quiz questions and test questions asking you, are these dependent or independent events? Okay, and for both of them, for both types of these compound events, you're going to be multiplying the probability of the first event times the probability of the second event happening. Okay, and that will give you the overall probability of both things happening. Okay, so you multiply those probabilities together. Now, quick review. Since we write most of our probabilities as fractions, let's make sure we remember how to multiply fractions together. Okay, when I'm multiplying fractions, I multiply the numerators and I multiply the denominators. Okay, so if this was the probability of the first thing, this is the probability of the second thing, this would be my overall probability of both things happening. Just remember to look for things that can cross-cancel or simplify, right? If I notice that 2 goes into 4 twice and 2 goes into 6 3 times, and I simplify those first, then I multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, my answer will already be simplified. Okay, so there's your quick little reminder on multiplying fractions. Okay, so let's look at a few examples. Rolling a dice twice, right? You roll the dice, pick it up, roll it again. Dependent or independent? Well, what I get on the dice the first time has nothing to do, it doesn't affect it, doesn't change it, doesn't alter what's going to happen the second time, so independent events. All right, probability of rolling a 3 twice in a row. Well, probability of rolling a 3 the first time, that's 1 out of 6 options on the dice. And rolling a 3 the next time is still 1 out of 6 options on the dice. Multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. There's your overall probability of rolling 3, then 3. Rolling an even, and then a 5. Well, we know an even is 3 out of the 6 options or outcomes on a dice, which simplifies to 1/2. And then rolling a 5 is 1 out of 6 options on a dice. Multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. There's your overall probability of both of these things happening. Okay? Rolling an odd, and then a number less than 3. Okay. Rolling an odd, we know is 1/2 on a dice. And then a number less than 3, so a 1 or a 2. Okay, well, a 1 or a 2, there's 2 options there, 2 out of 6. And I can simplify that to 1/3. So I'm going to put 1/3 here. If you use simplified probabilities, your answer will just be simplified. So multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. Okay? Well, now what if we put in flipping a coin and then rolling a dice twice? Well, again, the coin and the dice have nothing to do with each other. They don't affect each other. So those are still going to be independent events. All right, probability of flipping heads we know is 1/2 on a coin. Rolling a 5 is 1 out of 6 outcomes on a dice. And then rolling a 2, 1 out of 6 outcomes on a dice. Multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. 2 times 6 is 12 times 6. There we go. All right, probability of flipping tails. Put in that probability. Rolling an odd on a dice and rolling greater than 4. Okay, well, tails. Rolling an odd is also 1 out of 2, 1/2 on a dice, and greater than 4, so a 5 or a 6. Again, I could write 2 6, or I could simplify that to 1/3. Multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. 2 times 2 times 3. There's your overall probability. Okay? Probability of flipping tails we know is 1/2. Rolling a 6 or a 1, well, that's 2 out of 6 outcomes. So I'm going to simplify it. And rolling not a 3. Oh, well, not a 3 means there's 5 different outcomes. 1, 2, 4, 5, or 6 out of the 6 on a dice. Now multiply across the top. Multiply across the bottom. So 2 times 3 is 6 times 6. There we go. Okay? So we're just getting in the habit of multiplying probabilities together. How about probability of picking a soccer ball, football, tennis ball? Okay. Well, if I don't replace them, right, I pick something and then I keep it out, that changes what's left in my bag here. So that would be dependent events. Okay, so let's do that one first. Probability of picking a soccer ball, 1 out of 8. Probability of picking a football, well, 2, but there's only going to be 7 things left. And then picking a tennis ball, well, that's 1, but now there's only going to be 6 things left because I've kept them out, okay? So not replacing it means you have 1 less each time for the next event. That's what makes it dependent. Okay, well, I do see something here I can simplify. And multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. So I did 7 times 8 times 3, and got 168. Okay, now let's see if that's different if I did put them back, right? If I did replace them. All right, so football first, soccer ball first is still 1 out of 8. Then a football is 2 out of 8, which I could simplify to 1/4. Right, I'm putting it back each time, so I'm back to 8 balls every time now. And then a tennis ball, 1 out of 8. Okay, so notice the difference here. It stayed out of 8 balls each time, except for in this one where I simplified it. Multiply across the top, and then 8 times 8 times 8, 512. Okay? So that's the difference here between replacing it and not replacing it. Right? If you don't put it back, you end up with dependent events because it changes what's left for the next time. If you do put them back, you're independent events. You're back to the original same possible outcomes the next time you do it. Okay, let's keep going. What about if you're randomly guessing answers on a quiz? Well, if you're randomly guessing, those are going to be independent events. What you pick one time might not influence what you pick the next time. Okay, so randomly guessing and getting them all correct. Well, if there's 4 choices and you're guessing 3 different questions, you know it's 1 out of 4 chance that you get the first one right, 1 out of 4 choices or chance that you get the next one right, and 1 out of 4 that you get the next one right. So your overall probability, multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. Okay. How about the probability that you randomly guess and get all of them incorrect? Well, if there's 4 choices, that means 3 of the 4 choices are incorrect. So there's the 3 out of 4 chance for each of those questions that I get it wrong, right? So multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, and there's your overall probability that you guess and get them all wrong. Okay, now moving on, what if I draw a popsicle stick, right? I have 35 popsicle sticks, one for everybody in class. All right, independent or dependent? Well, if I'm drawing a stick and keeping it out, and then drawing another stick, that's going to make these dependent events, okay? So, probability I choose your stick, well, you are 1 out of 35 sticks. And then your best friend's stick, well, if you have one best friend, then they are 1 out of the remaining 34 sticks. And I would multiply those together. How about probability that you choose your stick and not your friend's stick? Well, you're still 1 out of 35. And then not your best friend's stick. Well, if there's 34 left, 33 of them are not your best friend. And I could multiply those together to get that probability. We're going to go on to the next example. How about pulling money from your pocket? I want you to try this one. So, we're going to say you don't put it back. You're drawing 2 bills or 3 bills without putting it back. So, dependent events. I want you to try finding the probability of getting 2 1s, a 5 and a 10, and then drawing a 5, a 10, and a 20 without putting them back. You can see what's in your pocket there. So pause and let's find these overall probabilities for these compound events. Okay, so I wrote down, right, the 1s, 4 out of 10, and then after I keep 1 out, then there'd be 3 out of 9 left, and I could multiply those together. The 5s, well, 2 out of 10, I could simplify that, and then 3 out of the 9 that are left for drawing a 10. And then here on the next one, again, 4 out of 10 are the 1s. 2 out of the remaining 9 would be 5s, and then 1 out of the remaining 8 would be a 20. Okay, we don't have a lot of time left. There's 3 examples, practice problems left. So here's C. I want you to do these questions, and then hit play when you're ready to check the answers. So check over these answers for picking sandwiches. Okay. Move on and pause when you get to D. Hit play when you're ready to check. Pause while you go over these ones. And then E. Pause and try these if you're picking marbles from a bag.